Hey. In this session, what we are going to build an article page that are using all CRUD operation like creating any kind of data, reading, updating or editing. And the last one is going to be deleting. We are going to use those four operations in our application. That is our main purpose for this project. And I think that's all. I wanna tell you about this one, and our application is going to be an article application. It doesn't matter what kind of application you are going to build. Let's call it article. Inside article we need to create domain. Inside domain we need to create entity. Inside our entity we need to create, not going to be out article entity.dat. That's our first file to create it. It's not all about just article. We need to create tag tag dot tag entity dot. I'll show you why we are going to use our tag entity for this project. First, let me build our entity for article. Let's call it class of article. Why article is not coming article, and we are going to extend this executable. I have no idea why this error is coming when I'm trying to opening the first time, like kind of this kind of behavior, but fine. Let's create our final string of ID. We need an ID. Okay, I think this thing is going to work. Still checking quick fix. Final string of title. Or if you want to see what we are going to build, let me run my emulator. Here is my emulator, and let me open the application. If you want to see what we are going to build, our email is going to be test@gmail.com for our password. Test@1 2 3 4. Yeah, it's working. Let's log in it. Yeah, we need to try to build look like this. Like we need to edit it this error, and we are going to fix our button to make it beautiful when we are trying to build our UI. Except that, like the main purpose of the application is look like this. There is a search button. Here is our tags. That's why we need to create tag entity for this one. And what other thing I want to tell you, here is our article. If you click it, the article is going to show us a single article. Yeah, we can like navigate to the back. If you press this menu button, we can edit our article and delete article. Now, of course, we can back it, and before I start coding it, I want to show you something. Here is my API doc. Let me show you my API to understand what kind of REST API we are going to accept it. Otherwise, like you'll never understand. and this thing is not going to be right in here, it's going to be in here. The spell is not correct. Equal table hash identity is going to extend equal table. We are going to implement it in the next time, and this is our API for authentication. There is login button, so the login API. If you pass this username and password, it's going to accept it. Otherwise, like, it's going to send us unauthorized for one. If you are successfully logged in, this kind of data is going to be accepted, and our token, yeah, we are going to verify it. If you are logged in or not, we are going to check only this one. But if you try to build an article, it's going to be a little bit complicated. For example, if you want to get all article look like this, let me show you my screen. This is just a lot of data. Let me show you my API. Here is my API. How you are going to fetch all of these things. If you can't understand how to working with RESTful API, how to remove an article, like, I think you guys are understand why I'm using like this API though, because I don't have like a fully fledged backend. Instead of using the backend, like, I'm just using this API though. If you have a backend, like, that's great. You have better experience. More than this, the first thing we need to do is just get all articles. If you are getting article by ID, it's look like this. When you are pressing just one thing, this one is like get article by ID. Oh, this thing image is not working. Why this thing is not working? Ah, we'll fix this problem like when we are building it, like I will implement full UI, but the first thing is implemented. If like post it, that's how we are going to post the data. If we are trying to edit it, that's our API for edit it. If you like to get tag, that's how we are going to get a tag. I think that's all we need for our backend. The only thing inside is not implemented is like sign up. That's why I didn't test it for you. But if you are follow up with me, this CRUD application, you are going to be great. Trust me. Let's create final string of subtitle final. This one is a little bit complicated. The last time we are just using like strings and integers, and this time we are going to use a date. Okay, final integer of like count. We need to count our likes. If you like it, likes count. The other thing we need to do is like we need our tag. This tag is not created, but we'll create it in the future. It's going to be list of string or list of tags. Our tag is going to be tags. Let me implement this tag to make it like clear for you guys. This tag is going to be accept, just name, string of name, and we need to create a constructor and override it like when you are building. like this. Let me write const, and then override it with prop. For an unimplemented error, we are going to return our name. I think that's all we need for our tag. It's going to be tag entity. Yeah, it is imported automatically. That's all we need for our tag. The next thing what we are going to do, yeah, we need the photo URL final and do the string of photo URL. Another thing we need to add is user data. This user data is not created because like we are not creating our user or our user profile. Should we skip it? Of course we can skip it. We are going to implement it in the future. And let me create a constructor for all over this. And let's const override it. For an implemented error, we are going to return everything that is inside our title, subtitle. What is the other thing? It's going to be date, likes count, tags, and photo URL. That's all we need when we are building our profile page or user information. We are going to implement it or we are going to modify it. That is enough for our create our entity. What is the other thing we need to do? Okay, let me create a repository. Repository. Then article repo. Repository.dat. Let me create the repository. For repository, we are going to create abstract class. That name is article repository. And we are going to implement it feature. The first thing we need to do is error failure. Our failure is created inside our code. If you are following how to create an authentication page, that's our failure. Or article is going to return article. What this function called get article by ID. If you are access our article by ID, what we are going to pass it string of ID, string of article ID, string of article ID. That's what we are going to pass it to access articles by ID. This one is either failure or list of article. If you wanna get a list of article, what we are going to do means get all article. Get all article. To get all article, we don't want to pass anything because it's going to return not like the whole article. It's not going to be look like this. It's going to be the whole article or our our full API. Let me show you inside this get all articles going to return us list of articles. Here is the list. We are going to access this thing to access all articles. That's how we're going to do. The next thing we are going to do is either failure or to get article. What we are going to do, we are going to post an article. To post an article, what we are going to pass it, we are going to pass an article because we need to push some article for our server. At this time, like our API dog is not going to be accept any kind of data, but if you are thinking about like if you are working with real budget, you should send some data to post it. For example, if you are working with like our login, that's how we are going to post the data. We are going to pass an article or article. We need to pass an article. Another thing we need to build is where is failure. We need to update it. For that, we are going to expect an article. Let's update article. What we are going to pass the same thing. We are going to pass an article and we are going to accept just an article. Articles. That's how we are going to type it. What about if you wanna delete article? What we are going to do that? Let's create let's create a future value, either failure or if you are deleting what we are going to accept, what we are going to expecting. If you are deleting like the whole thing, like it's going to be void. But if you are deleting like the first thing in here, what we are going to accept it. Of course, we are going to return just an article. If you are delete means like it's not going to be empty like logout. That thing is not going to be happened in this time. To do that, we are going to expect article. Let's delete. That's how to spell delete. Deleted article. You need to pass something. What we are going to pass delete article by ID because like we are to delete just one article. We are not going to delete the whole article by ID. For that, like uh, get article by ID, we are going to pass like article ID. Thing is going to be string of article ID. For delete, we are going to do look like this. We need to get tag. How we are going to get a tag future either failure or tags entity. That's what we are going to expect, or the name of the tag. Let me rename this thing with get tags, and we are not going to send anything to get a tag. Future. The next thing we need to do is like we need to filter an article. How to filter an article? We are going to pass our tag and our title. If you pass them titles, like it's going to filter it by our title. At this time, like not perfectly working if you are working with like me, like if you are using API doc, this thing is not going to be perfect. But if you have a great backend service, this thing is like magnificent. Okay, to filter an article, we are going to expect like list of article. Okay, let me write our failure, and we are going to expect a list of article. and we are going to filter it out. Filter article. To filter article, what we are going to pass it, tag entity. It's going to be our first parameter, or our title, string of title. If you are like searching, okay. My mind was is getting stuck. Why this thing is happening this time? Okay, the next thing we are going to build is this thing is not going to help us in our remote data source, but for local data source, it's going to help us. The first thing we need to do is get bookmark and add bookmark, and we need to remove a bookmark. How we are going to do it? Future, same thing. Either failure. Oh my god, how am I going to type look like? Either failure, or what we are going to accept, list of article, and we need to get a bookmark, a bookmarked article, and we are not going to pass anything for this one. That's all we need. We need to create a picker value, user failure, or we need to add a bookmark. Let me show you how to add a bookmark in here. Where's my screen? I think add bookmark is going to help us in our profile. That's unauthorized. Oh, this implementation is crashed, but I'll show you. Yeah, here is our bookmark. When you press this thing, like, yeah, here is the green light, the blue color. If you got this blue color, this thing is bookmarked. And inside our profile, we need to get it, like, if it's working. Yeah, it's not working for this one, but I'll show you in the future. It's going to be working. We need to store, like, we need to access, like, our things if you are keep storing in our local data source. That is the main purpose of adding a bookmark. What we are going to accept, we are going to accept article. It's not going to be list article. Let's add bookmark, and we need to pass an article because we are going to press this article. The last thing we need to build is to remove our bookmark in our remote data source. We are going to delete it. If you are stored in local storage, we need to remove from our data source, our local data source, or our share prefer, either failure or an article. We are going to accept an article. If it's not entity, we are going to remove from book market. I don't want to be too long. Bookmark is going to be enough, and we are going to pass dot bookmark ID. Bookmark ID, because we need to access that thing by ID. If you want to delete it, articles by ID, we are going to use look like this. I think that's all we need to build the whole application. We are going to implement these all things We are going to get article by ID. We are get all articles, post, edit, delete, get tags, filter tags, and those three things are helping us for we are these three things are going to help us for our local data source. That is all I want to say. The last thing we need to build is our use case. Use case slash the first use case we are going to build is okay, get article by ID use case dot that's our first use case. Um, Let me build our use case class get article get article ID use case. We are going to extend okay, let's implement with use case. And our use case the first thing we need to accept is type. Our type is going to be article and our prop is string. Then what we are going to do, let's initialize our out not out repository, article repository. Article repository is going to be article repository. Let's build a constructor for this one and override it. I think that's all we need to do. Override it. It's going to be asynchronous. And let's remove this thing. And we are going to return await article repository dot get article by ID, and what we are going to pass is going to accept our article ID. Why this thing is not working? Oh, it's going to be params. I think we can pass params. That's all we need. Then we are going to implement for all of our repositories. The next thing we need to do is okay, get all article, get all article use case dot class get all articles implementers use case but we are going to accept it. I think that's going to be list of string, yeah, list of article. Oh no, params. There is no params. No, no params is not implemented in our core use case. Let me check it. There is no params. Why this thing is not working? Params. Whatever. Let me close it. I think no. Let me close it in here. Our list is going to be closed in here. Then we are going to initialize final article repository. Let me build the constructor for this one, and let's override it. It's going to be asynchronous return await article repository dot get or article, and we are not going to pass anything to get article. For the next thing, what we are going to build, let me check it. Get article. Okay, post articles. Let me build a post article. Post article dot. Let's build the class of post article implementers. Use case for type. What we are going to pass? We are going to pass an article, just an article, and what is our parameter to post it? That's going to be article to post. Yeah, it's going to be article because we are going to pass an article and we are going to expect article. And final article repository is going to be article repository. Let's build a constructor for this one, and let me override it. Return this thing. It's going to be async. Dang. Async await article repository dot post article params. We are going to pass our parameter. I think that's all we need to do. For edit, it's going to be the same as this thing. Update article dot. Let's create a class. Oh my god, update article implementers. Use case. Our use case going to accept article. Article. What's wrong with this? There is something. Oh, our use case is not going to accept bracket. Articles. And final article repository. Let's build constructor. Let's override it. Async. And what we are going to do, we are going to return await out article repository dot update article. To update article, we are going to pass our parameter. I think that's all we need to do it. This like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, other thing what we are going to build. Okay, there's a lot of things. Get tag. Okay, let me build hunting for like get bookmarket or add bookmarket. Let me build add bookmark. Okay, add mark use case dot start. Let's create a class add bookmark implement this use case. What we are going to accept for our bookmarks going to accept article and going to be parameters add bookmark params. Okay, how we are going to build this add bookmark params. That add book params is going to be class add book params is going to extend executable final article of article. Let me build constructor for this one and const this one. Then where is my mouse? Const, and let's override it and pass article in here. Article, and yeah, that's all we need to do. Is final article repository. And let's create a constructor for this repository and let's override that part and be asynchronous, and let's return article. Oh my god. Article repository dot add bookmark is going to be params. Params dot article. Okay, we can pass. Look like this. What other thing? Okay, we need to delete article. And we are going to delete an article. Delete article. This case. So that. Oh my god. Rename it. It's going to be that. Okay, let's create class. Delete article use case. Implement use case. Our use case is going to accept our article because we are going to, after delete, we are going to expect our article. What we are going to pass, just a string. It's a string of an ID. What is the other thing we need to do? Let's call our final article repository is going to be article repository. Let's create a constructor for this one and let's override it. Let's return something. Before returning, it's going to be asynchronous return return is going to be await article repository dot delete article. We're going to pass our params. That's all we need to remove or to delete an article from our remotely. Let me remove something from our local. Remove article dot not dot remove article use case. Not just removing article, remove bookmark. Yeah, remove um, bookmark. Use case. This name is going to be wrong, but it makes sense for long run. Let's create a class. Let's remove it. Otherwise, it's going to be confusing for deleting from our remote and deleting from our local. That's why it's going to be long. Implement use case. Our use case is going to be accept look like our remote data. So when we are trying to delete it, it's going to be expect article and string. We are going to pass on a string. And let's implement this one. Let me final article repository is going to be article repository. Let's create a constructor. Let's create a bookmark for let's create an override and to be asynchronous like I said before. Return article repository dot remove from bookmark and to be pass our parameter. That's all we need. After removing, we are working with updates. Yeah, I think we are just lost filter and get a tag. Okay, let me working with filter article with scans dot. Let's create a class filter article use case implement this use case or our type. What we are going to expect, we are going to expect article, but when you try to pass parameters, what we are going to pass it. Let me create it. Filter params. Our filter parameter is going to be our tag and our title. We are going to build it in the future. Let me build this thing as filter params going to extend equitable and final. Let's initialize tags entity, and our title final string of title like we are providing inside our repository. Then we are going to override these two things and we are going to create a constructor for those two things. Let's const this thing const and we are going to override and pass those two parameters inside here. We are going to pass our tag entity and title. That's all we need. After that, what we're going to do, let's call our final article repository. Oh my god. Article repository. And let's create a constructor for this repository. And let's override it to be asynchronous. And what we are going to return await article repository dot filter article. Our tags is going to be params dot tag entity and params dot title. I think we need to pass those two parameters. Why we should get this error if you are passing everything. Here is our params dot tag. It's going to be async await. What's wrong with this function? Damn something. Oh my god. Not just an article. And I try to filter it. It's going to be list of article. List of article. If this thing is list of article, we need to change another thing. We expect an article. It's not going to be just an article. It's going to be list of article. Yeah, list of article is going to be work perfectly. That's why we need to build our domain layer. We're going to check everything inside in here, and we know what we are going to expect it when we are filtering or deleting or anything. Okay, the get all article is going to be implemented. Let me implement our get tag. Get tag use case dot art. Let's create a class called get tag and implement use case. Our type is going to be list of tags. List of tag entity. Yeah, I think just curly bracket. Let's pass no params. Then let me close it and let's create final article repository. Then what's wrong with me? Article repository. And we need to create a constructor for this one. And let's override it. It's going to be asynchronous. Then we remove this thing and we're going to return await article repository dot get article, no get or article get tag, get tags. What we are going to pass. I don't want to pass anything because it doesn't accept params. It's not going to accept params. Our get article is going to be just empty. Doo-doo-dum, doo-doo-dum. Damage something or notes. Do 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 do. Another one will require this. That's going to fix our problem. Don't think so. That's not our problem. Should work. Get August. Okay, read the problem. The value either tag cannot be returned from method call because it has returned. You get the problem. Again, to accept like just list of tags or list of names and no parameter. We are initializing our article repository, building constructor, either field or list of tag entity, and we are going to call with no params. It's going to be asynchronous, and we are going to return it. What's wrong with it? What is our bit? Here is our tag entity. Should work, but I have no idea why this thing is not working. Let's get tag. Oh my god, here is it, our problem. It's going to be list. Yeah, list of tags. This thing is going to be list of tags. I think so. Yeah, list of tags. When I fix that problem, it's working perfectly. Is there another thing I need to build for our use case? Okay, I think I missed one thing. Here is our repository. Remove, add bookmark. Okay, I didn't implement get all bookmarks. I just want to implement this thing. I think that's all we need to implement. Okay, do get bookmark.